What's up, guys? My name's Cody, back with another UFC betting breakdown. My favorite bets for UFC Fight Island 5, Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes. And this card is pretty stacked. A lot of people were hating on the last card. This card is, on paper, a lot better. Gotta say, though, that last card turned out to be pretty lit. And we made some money. Wasn't a perfect card. We didn't hit all of our bets like it seemed to have been these past couple weeks, but Luigi Vendramini cashed for us. We had him straight. We had Casey Kenney parlayed up. He cashed. We also had Imavov as an underdog there. He cashed as well. We had Jourdain in 4 different parlays. I felt now that first round did get scary. When he got sat down, I was like, oh my God, because I was heavier on Jourdain. Now that line was crazy, but and I knew Kulabau was better than a lot of people were saying, but I just felt like Jourdain was gonna get it done. I did feel like he got it done. I thought he won the last 2 rounds pretty clearly, but he did get dropped in that first round. I didn't actually see the scorecards. I don't know if somebody gave him a 10-8 in that first round, but I thought he clear as day won the second and third round. So that did give us a push for our 4 parlays with him. Not a failed bet, but a push. Our first failed bet of the night, though, was Court Mcgee. I had him by decision over Carlos Condit, and he ended up losing the decision there. We did, though, cash with a parlay in these next 2 fighters with Kyler Phillips and Dusko Tavoriak. They cashed. They both got the knockout, looked good. 2 good prospects there. So that was another cash bet. After that, we cashed another bet with Germaine Durand to me. We had her parlayed up with Jourdain, which ended up just being a straight bet. And didn't think she was going to get a submission, but she was winning up until then. It got a little dicey for a bit, but, it played out pretty similar to how I broke it down and how I figured it would go. So that went good. We were killing it with only that 1 failed bet of the night, and then we got our second failed bet of the night. Yorgan de Castro dropped the decision to Carlos Felipe. I mean, Carlos Felipe, not really super impressed with that guy. I mean, he got it done, but I think we're still going to be fading that guy when he gets his next fight, especially coming off a win. Did feel like he won this one, though. He did win the fight against Yorgan, but it was just, poof. I mean, I am not trying to be disrespectful, but if we could just give them both a loss, that I'd feel better. Anyways, we did finish it off with a win. We had Holly parlayed with Jourdain, which ended up solo, and then we also had her parlayed up with, I think it was with Jourdain, which pushed, and then with Casey Kenney. So that did cash. So Holly, completed 2 bets for us to end the night. Ended up another good night. So we are 12-2 since we started this YouTube channel, with 12 nights where we made money. A lot of those where we made good money, and 2 nights where we lost money. So I'm happy with that. Let's keep it rolling. Let's move it into this next card, because I actually like this card better, as not just as far on paper, but I actually like it better as far as betting too. So moving into this first fight, we got Tagir Ulambekov versus Bruno Silva. How did I get Tagir over here his name right, and then I messed up Bruno? Anyways, Tagir, a lot of you guys know he's Khabib's boy. They've known each other since they were kids. They've been wrestling and grappling since they were kids on the Dagestani mountains. I know you've heard about it all week. He is a big favorite here, and you could say, for somebody who hasn't, who's still relatively new, hasn't fought like the best competition yet, that you could try to argue that it's unwarranted. But if you look through here, man, he's already fought like some decent competition. I mean, his one loss here is Zalgas. I like this Zalgas guy. He's good. We did get a tough loss in his last fight to Paiva. And, that was a good fight. But Zalgas is legit. And that's his only professional loss. If you go back and watch it, I really did not feel like he lost that fight. I think he fought it in Kazakhstan. It was in Zalgas's hometown where, dude is like worshipped. So, if you watch the fight, which I went back and watched it last night, I didn't feel like he lost, and I just feel like, man, he's basically 13-0 against some decent, regional competition. And Bruno Silva, it's like, man, he just hasn't looked great. I mean, he's decent. He's had some. If you go through his record, he's looked good a couple times, But right when he got into the UFC, like these last couple fights that got him into the UFC, I mean, yeah, 18-12, 6-3, not the greatest records, but having a draw with Casey Kenney, that's pretty impressive. But I'm really high on that guy. But if you once he got to the UFC, I mean, got finished by Khalid Taha here, arm triangle. I mean, Khalid's pretty legit, but I mean, to get finished like that in your debut, it's just not good. And then next fight, lost to David Dvorak, who looked decent in his last fight recently, just a couple weeks ago. But I mean, just lower competition, and you're losing to them, and then it's like I'm not seeing a real path to victory for him. Tagir's going to be the longer, bigger guy. You saw him at weigh-ins. He's just the bigger guy. He looks like a weight class above him. And he's going to be able to, on the feet, I feel like he'll be the better striker. Bruno's just going to be he needs to land just a bomb. Aside from that, I don't see it. I don't think he can submit Tagir off his back. I mean, knock on wood, I'm going to be high on Tagir here. He's going to be one of the anchors in my parlays. One of my most confident picks. Probably my second most confident pick on the card, if not my first. He might be, in my opinion, especially with the line, when we get into the second big heavy favorite, which is warranted. And these are smaller guys, Spoiler alert, Aspinall. At least then it's a heavyweight. This feels safe. Tagir is going to have the wrestling advantage. He's going to have the overall grappling advantage. He's going to be the bigger guy, the longer guy. I feel like his striking in general is just as good, if not a little bit crisper. I feel like Tagir is going to get it done here. I don't really see a path to victory for Bruno. So Tagir is going to be a leg in a couple of my parlays. I'll get into that at the end here. And let's move right on to the next fight. We got Tracy Cortez and Stephanie Egger. This is one of the only fights on the card that I don't have action on already. I'll get that. I'll just let you know that right away. 7-1 and 5-1, two solid. I don't want to say prospects because Stephanie is 32, but I mean she has got a good amount of attention. A lot of people have been talking about her grappling match with Gabby Garcia and how she's apparently faced Ronda Rousey and apparently beat her. I can't find record of this, but beat her in a judo match. So a lot of people have been saying, Trace Cortez should be able to come in here and do what she's going to do, kind of wrestle boxer, and just, she probably will have the wrestling advantage. But Stephanie is going to have that jiu-jitsu advantage, that judo, jiu-jitsu, just submission grappling advantage. And this is a lower level women's MMA fight where them arm bars come out. And I've seen Trace Cortez get in some weird grappling scrambles where if that was Stephanie Egger, who actually did seem at weigh-in to also seem like she might have a bit of a size advantage here. I do think that if Tracy Cortez's or her plan is to come in here and wrestle boxer her, put her, work her strikes, which against a lot of these girls works, and against a lot of these girls is probably the right path to victory. Come forward, work her takedowns. I mean, I won't say she's like a high level wrestler, but pretty solid, and she'll shoot them. And I do think that's probably. I feel like she's gonna still come in here and look to do the exact same thing against Stephanie, and I just don't know if that is a great game plan against legit judoka, legit jiu-jitsu fighter. And in these type of, you got a betting favorite, lower level women's MMA, and a girl here who likes to let them little arm bars and joint submissions fly from her back. That's not a favorite I can take. In my opinion, this would be dog or pass. Stephanie, maybe Stephanie by sub, or you just stay off of this one. Me personally, I'm probably gonna stay off of this, and it's second fight of the night. I'm just gonna enjoy. I'm just gonna sit back, enjoy it. Let's see what happens. It should be a good fight, and move right on to this next fight. This next fight is gonna be fun, man. I'm really into this next fight. You got Giga Chikadze and Omar Morales. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound like I'm a hater, but I've kind of been looking for a spot to fade Giga, Giga, sorry, my boy, no offense. He's been, what is he, 3-0? Is it 2-0 or 3-0? I can't remember if 3 fights ago was in the UFC. Yeah, he's 3-0 in the UFC. Brandon Davis, Jamal Emmers, Aaron Rivera, not terrible competition either. So it's like, why do I want to fade this guy so bad? He's on a 5-fight winning streak. He even had a little submission there, but if you look, 2-31. 2-31. Now he's 2-33. You got another L after that. Erwin Rivera, solid fighter, not great anywhere, not terrible anywhere. The Brandon Davis, similar story, split decision there. This split decision could have gone either way. Jamal Emmers really went out there and kickboxed the kickboxer, and then when he in the second round, he'd realized, oh wait, I actually have wrestling. Let me wrestle this guy. Oh, what do you know? He could take Chikadze down at will, and was taking him down. And that was a close fight. Maybe Chikadze, that first round was pretty. He came out hot, and he probably will come out hot in this first round, and he might win this first round against Morales. But I don't know. I just feel like, man, I'm not a guy who really even likes to bet these undefeated guys. I'm not, and I'm actually betting 2 undefeated guys tonight. I actually like to fade these undefeated guys. Come to UFC. This is when you see him lose. But this guy, first of all, 2-0 in the UFC. Now, hasn't fought the greatest competition yet. Gabriel Benitez, it was his last fight. Decent fight. He went out there and did exactly what he was supposed to do. 2-0 with 2 decisions. But I just feel like here against Chikadze, Morales is a legitimate black belt. He's got good hands. He works his kicks, and his striking in general is pretty competent. I wouldn't say he's a better striker than Chikadze. Obviously, Chikadze's going to be the more credentialed kickboxer, but this is MMA, and the range everything's different. Especially when you're fighting a guy who's a black belt, you don't want to get you on that mat. The range and everything's different. The shot selection, everything's different, and I got to go with the better MMA fighter, man. And I know, I tried to make sure I wasn't being biased because, like I said, I have kind of been looking to fade Chikadze. But I just feel like, man, here, this is a spot where Morales' striking can hang with Chikadze. If it works in the clinch, Chikadze's got good striking in the clinch. He works those knees as he should. He's pretty big for the weight class. They have him listed at 6'2", right? It says 6 foot. I swear they had him listed. No, it might be right actually. Never mind. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that is tall as hell for the weight class. Something was telling me it was even more ridiculous. But he's a lengthy dude, he works those clinched knees as he should. But I just feel like, man, Morales, the better MMA fighter. The black belt. At first I got a little scared because I don't know if I can rely on Morales to come out here and shoot takedowns. I don't know if I can rely on him to really go out and shoot a lot of takedowns. But wow, is it really swung over to -160? I got him a little earlier in the week where Morales was only -125. But I just feel like here, if it works in the clinch, he's got to watch out for the knees. Chikadze hasn't really shown that he can. He hit a takedown in his last fight, but I just don't think that he's not gonna have any other. He doesn't carry a ton of power, and he kind of just needs to like beat Morales with volume here. And I feel like Morales is the one who has the like finishing ability. If it gets to the ground, even in just like a scramble, then he's gonna have the advantage there. I gotta go with Omar Morales here. I don't know if you'd still want it at minus 160. It's kind of getting a little steep, but I mean, hey, I would probably play it up to like minus 175, something like that. Because I just feel like he's the better fighter here, and I've been saying that when this guy got like decent competition again, I'm not trying to hate, that we're probably gonna see him take a loss there. So I'm gonna fade Chikadze, and we're gonna move on to this next fight. I do have Morales as a straight bet. I got him a little earlier in the week, but again, I wouldn't blame you if you took him at minus 160. Getting into this next one though, this was a fight, man, I was pretty interested on. AlQaisi and Tony Kelley. Tony Kelley, former lightweight, former featherweight, coming down here at bantamweight. AlQaisi was the last one to weigh in. Got the towel. Looked pretty rough. Didn't look good. One of the rougher ones of the weigh-in, if not the roughest. Man, I wanted to say, we've seen Tony Kelley get taken down. We've seen, he might not have the best wrestling. His endurance is pretty solid. But I was hoping AlQaisi would come in here, look really good at weigh-in, and I could think, okay, maybe he wrestles this guy for 2 rounds. Because plus 180, I mean, I was also thinking maybe Tony Kelley would be the one to look a little drained out from coming all the way down to 135, but man, he looked good. I mean, he looked ready to go. Yeah, of course, he looked a little as he would if he sucked a lot of weight out, but I don't know. I mean, AlQaisi was the one who was suffering. And I know the fact that he has no eyebrows does not help him look a little bit more normal, but I don't know, man. I didn't like how he was looking. Not enough to get me to swing. Not enough to give me confidence that he can wrestle this guy for 2 rounds. So I'm just gonna, I think this goes to the decision. I thought about taking the over or taking the fight goes to decision, taking maybe Tony Kelley by decision. But as of right now, I'm just gonna stay off this fight because I was just kind of let down that I can't go with my boy AlQaisi here. But I can't take Tony Kelley at minus 225. So I'm going to stay off of it. If I end up doing a play, I will let y'all know live on Twitch when I'm on there for the fights tomorrow. And I have a new Twitter. It'll be in the caption down there. Until I get my Twitter back, I'll be there. And I always post my bets there as soon as I make them. So let's move into this next fight, though. And another good one, man. This is a great card. I'm excited, man. I really am. This feels like it doesn't have those pay-per-view names. It just has a bunch of fire matchups. It's like this is a hardcore this is a card that the hardcores are gonna love. You got Impa Kasanganay and Joaquin Buckley, 2 good prospects. You saw Joaquin take that loss to my boy Kevin Holland. I had Holland there, but it got a little dicey, Holland gave me a sweat, as he always does if you bet him. I love the guy, just, his style, especially against a fucking absolute beast like Buckley. But, he did knock him out. He did put him down. It was a pretty heavy shots. Buckley definitely took some pretty decent damage, and that was only like 2 months ago. This is a fight where I was, before this got matched up, I like Impa. Now he cost me some money when he beat Patolo. I took a shot at Patolo in his last fight, and I broke that down a little bit, but I just feel like, damn, this guy might, minus 250 on this guy. I don't know. But, then when I got into the tape a little bit more, it's like with Buckley, the same things I was seeing when I bet Holland. It's like it's kind of KO or bust. It's kind of KO or bust, and I'm not saying and always Buckley is, but here in this fight because I mean he is gonna be. I mean, you saw Kasanganay didn't look amazing on the scale. Buckley gonna have a strength advantage, like he is against most people. But, man, I just feel like Impa's just a more defensively sound, more just sharper fighter. You know, you could argue Buckley's fought the higher competition because he has. That's why I was kind of fading him against Patolo. Experience is a motherfucker. And this dude is a sizable favorite. But at the end of the day, man, Kasanganay, man, I just feel like he's done so well at keeping himself safe. And in this fight, he, we got Buckley coming back a little too early. He should have taken more time. He essentially got knocked out twice there. It was a rough fight, and I mean, he didn't look bad at all, but, you know, he took some damage, and you should take time. Kasanganay only has, like, one knockout in his career, but I think the knockout is live here, because Buckley's going to bring him the fight like he does, but I just feel like Impa, I really wanted to take Buckley here, but the pick is Kasanganay. I just feel like he has more, the more paths to victory. He didn't look fantastic on the scales, but I might pair him up. I might pair him up with someone. Not my most confident play, but we'll see. The pick is Impa Kasanganay though. And let's move on to the next fight. That's gonna be a banger. I can't wait for that one. Man, another banger though. Heavyweights. We got Rodrigo Nascimento and Chris Daukaus. This is gonna be a good fight, man. Here you got Chris Daukaus coming in off that win of Parker Porter. He was actually an underdog in that fight. That was a good, good showing for him. But I just feel like, man, he came in light on the scales. He came in really light, but he's still he's not a heavyweight. Like Nascimento has that like heavyweight build. Now, I'm not saying he's he's got a little, belly on him, got some, got a pair of tats, but at the same time, he's got that heavyweight build, He's big. And Chris Daukaus he came in light, like 220, and he was like still like he's just got that flab. He doesn't have like a big like a stature. He's just not. I just feel like Nascimento is and he's got the better jiu-jitsu, the better grappling. Daukaus is a black belt, but Nascimento is out here submitting five fighters, professional fighters in a row, and he's 8-0. Again, I don't bet a lot of these undefeated guys, but man, this is a card where they just got some pretty favorable matchups, and I just feel like he has a better jiu-jitsu. He's got the better striking. Chris Daukaus does have heavy hands, but if it goes to the ground, Nascimento's bigger, stronger, and I feel like the higher credential black belt. This one's just gonna have to go Nascimento. I mean, his striking didn't look bad in his last fight either. He's looked legit, and man, Chris Daukaus, I'm gonna like him as an underdog against some heavyweights in the UFC, but this just isn't a very great matchup for him. So I'm going to go with Rodrigo Nascimento, and I don't know if I'll be parlaying him up at all. The line is starting to come down to where it's playable, but right now, it's like him and Kasanganay are two guys that I feel like are going to win, but I just don't like those lines a lot. So, Nascimento is the pick, and let's move on to the next fight. We got Tom Breese and KB Bhullar. This is a lot of different dynamics to this fight. getting into this fight, man, you've been hearing about it all week. Let's just get it over with. Tom Breese, he's known for being a guy who's pulled out of a ton of fights. No disrespect, it's just he's been showing some mental like weaknesses. He's pulled with his fight against Ian Heinisch. He just he pulled out when he was like in the tunnel. He just decided like he had a panic attack. They had it listed as, and he's pulled out of a lot of fights. And then going into this one, he's coming off a first round knockout loss. And you gotta wonder like what that's gonna do to his mental. And I know like anybody who's thinking about betting on this fight has been hearing about that over and over, or at least thinking about it. But that's just like a big factor to me. I've listened to a couple of his interviews like this week, and he's saying some of the right things, but he always says a lot of the similar things. And he did, say a couple times, it feels like a prison at Fight Island, and it has him a little stir crazy. I mean, whatever. I'm not saying I don't like to read in interviews a ton, but this is a guy that's like shown that you should a little bit with him. And you got KB Bhullar. It's like he just looks so calm. I mean, I'm watching his interviews. He's so calm. He's just having a good time. All the confidence in the world, but he's not looking forward or looking past Tom. Always like seems just focused on beating Tom, but at the same time like confident. And then you got the plus 215 number. It's like we haven't even gotten into the technical aspect of the fight. Right there, it's like, okay, I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. Now, I will admit, Tom Breese has the experience advantage. He probably has the crisper boxing, even though Bhullar might have the more power, at least where they're at right now. I was a little worried Breese might be like a little bigger, but honestly, when they sized up, I'm not really seeing that. Bhullar's pretty fucking big at middleweight. Breese did used to make welterweight. Bhullar's not huge at middleweight, but he's not small either. 6'4". He's got 5-inch reach advantage on him. And then, like I said, I do feel like he has the power at this stage of their careers. Breese, he might have a bit of a grappling advantage, but I don't know if I would be able to trust that Breese is going to come in there and show this like wrestling heavy game plan against Bhullar. I think it's going to play out on the feet, and then I feel like Bhullar might just be landing the more significant shots. So I'm taking the shot on Bhullar, man. I didn't think I would when I first saw this matchup, but man, I got to take that shot at plus 215 is what it's at right now. I'd have to check exactly what I got it at. Got it a little earlier in the week. It's been about the same. It might have been anywhere between plus 218 and plus 220. But I mean, I like that. Like 2-1 odds. I'm liking a lot of different things when it comes to this matchup. So give me Bhullar to pull off the upset. I thought about taking him inside the distance, but I'm just gonna take him straight up. 2-1's juicy enough for me. And speaking of 8-0 underdogs that I like, these undefeated guys tonight, man. We got Yusuf Zalal and we got Elia Topuria. And, man, everybody is on Zalal. Everybody loves this Zalal guy. I said Zalal guy like I didn't bet him in his last 2 fights, and I don't like the guy too. No, I like this guy. He's a good prospect. And now, he hasn't been able to get these finishes together, but he does what he has to do to win. I like that. I like betting on guys like that. I just don't actually like to bet guys that are undefeated and they finish every fight. But, I don't know, man. This guy, Topuria, man, at featherweight, man, he's a big, strong, heavy-handed guy. Good grappling. I like this matchup, man. Zalal's going to want to do what he does. He's going to want to use that reach advantage, use that height, keep him on the outside, pepper him. You mix in some takedowns, but do you want to mix in takedowns on this guy, man? Topuria, man, he's a finisher, and Dude is a beast, man. I really thought Zalal was going to be maybe a parlay piece this week. I liked him. And then when I started watching the tape, I'm like, I really don't like betting guys that finish every fight and are undefeated against the guy who's been to a bunch of decisions and looks to, pepper you and stay on the outside and, willing to win rounds, mix in takedowns. That's exactly how this fight matches out, but I really feel like Topuria he might knock Zalal's block off. I mean, his striking just like he just has the real the danger with him. There's just so much more danger. Like I could see you taking Topuria inside the distance, but it's just so like they're already on it. The bookies are already on it, so it wasn't enough for me. I have Topuria straight, man. This is a dog card. I bet Zalal in his last 2 fights, and he hasn't done me wrong, but he's like skimming by these low-level guys. I really feel like this is one, man. Topuria is not... This guy is a different level of dangerous when it comes to these guys Zalal has been beating in the UFC so far. I really feel like he is going to make this a scrap, and he's just the more potent finisher. If anybody gets finished here, it should be him, unless Zalal gets his back or something here. But I just don't see it. I'm taking the underdog, man. I got like 4 underdogs on this card, man. I don't like to force underdogs, but this is a card where it's like, this is an underdog card. And when you have underdogs like this, a couple of them are so big, it's like, man, you go 2-2, you're good. I'm not saying I want to go 2-2. I don't pick underdogs just for the line. I pick people who I think are gonna win the fight, and I got Topuria here. I'm not gonna say Zalal, like, you can't bet. The line is what it should be probably, based on what people have seen and all that. But I have Topuria here, so let's move on to this next fight because we got a couple more bangers left. Marcus Perez and Dricus du Plessis. Well, so many good fights, so many freaking live dogs, man. This is another good one, man. This is a good fight. Early on, I was all over Perez. I'm like, oh, you're going to give, like I was saying earlier, but this is almost to another level. This guy's coming up in weight. He's either finish or bust every single one of his wins. Even if his loss has never been to decision against a guy who can't be finished. A true middleweight. Like, I would normally hammer this. And I'm still tempted. But now they have this height listed. They even had Perez at 6'2" on, I think, like, Sure Dog. That's not... These dudes are the same height. So someone's lying. But... Dricus is actually like the longer guy. Like, he's gonna have the longer reach. Perez, like, he's a wild man. He gets a lot of flack for just being a little goofy, having a little too much fun in there. But man, I feel like he's taking this fight seriously. I've been watching his interviews. He seems to be taking this fight seriously. And I know these pullouts have been hurting him. This is his 3rd opponent that he was supposed to fight tonight or tomorrow. But this is short notice for Dricus here too. And there isn't a size advantage for Perez. Dricus is huge. They're both big. I mean, if anything, Dricus might be a little bit bigger. He really might be. He's big. Perez isn't huge, but he does have the grappling jiu-jitsu advantage, man. I don't see him getting... Like, Dricus has a nasty guillotine, but I don't see him getting Perez with that. Perez has never been finished. Only ever lost by decision. Tough guys. Beatty and Heinisch. Got submissions, If he gets to Dricus's back, Dricus is only really Runic choking, like, low-level guys. And then he has a sick guillotine. Even those, he's hitting on lower-level guys for the most part. I just don't see him hitting that on Marcus. And we haven't seen him go to 1 decision in 16 fights. So, I'm leaning Perez. This line has only gone further because people are locking this Dricus guy up. They're sleeping on Perez. People don't like him. So, I'm just going to lay back and chill on this one because I don't see any reason not to. So nobody's playing Perez. So I'm leaning Perez. This was the first bet that jumped out at me early. And then but I didn't see any reason to rush it. Still don't. Gonna continue waiting. Let people put Drickus and parlays and let that get to plus 160, and then I'm jumping on it. I like Marcus slightly here. 16 fights, never been to decision. Perez, Iron Man. I don't think he's finishing it, man. So, slightly into Perez. Tough fight. Ben Rothwell and Marcin Tybura. This is a fucking dope fight, man. Tybura made me money in his last fight. Made me good money in his last fight. That was the sub prop, right? Yeah. No. I missed the sub prop on that one. Who got me a sub that night? I can't remember. Yeah, Maxim Grishin, he just wrestled him. That was the 205er coming up. He just made it real nice and easy. I don't remember. I might have had Marcin by decision on that one. I remember being really happy when Marcin won that fight, but... So I wanted to continue that, my Marcin, my hidden Marcin love, but he's going against a guy, Ben Rothwell, man, right here, who he's just a bigger, durable guy. And Marcin did come in heavy as shit today. He was like 260, so he's coming in heavy. He's trying to put on that weight for Big Ben, but it was like 258 or 255, at least 255. He was big. He was heavier than normal. He's trying to put on some weight to deal with Ben's size, but Ben is just a natural, bigger guy. They have a lot of similar skill sets, but Ben is just a lot bigger. He's just a bigger, naturally, his frame is just bigger. He's stronger. He's the more potent finisher. He has 50 fights. He's just got more experience. He's fought the who's who. Now, he is 38, but this is heavyweight. Now, he doesn't have the greatest volume. Marcin, I'm a little worried, could maybe stay in kicking range and just kind of outpoint him, but I just don't. If anybody gets a finish, it's going to be Ben. If it stays on the feet, it's going to be tough. But I don't think Marcin can use his typical game plan. I don't think he can just go out there and take Ben down. I don't think he'll be able to work any of his grappling jiu-jitsu. If he has to do 3 rounds just out striking Ben, I don't know. I mean, Ben hasn't looked great in his last 2 fights, even though he's got them both wins. But this is a matchup that I like for him. So I do have Ben in a couple parlays. I like Ben here. Just a bigger guy, similar skill set. Should probably play out mostly on the feet. Ben has more power. He's much more durable. And I don't think Marcin's going to be able to take him down. So it's going to be a tough fight for Marcin. I got Ben here. It should be a decent parlay piece. Moving on to Edson Barboza, Makwan Amirkhani, co-main event. Edson's second fight at 145. I thought he beat Dan Ige, but, he had that Ali Abdelaziz as his manager, so, you don't lose decisions with that. No, kidding, kind of. But Edson, he gets a lot of shit. He's, people like to say, oh, he has no grappling, or he just, sucks at jiu-jitsu. No, that's not true. He's actually a black belt, and he actually has good grappling. He's only been submitted by the who's who, and it's usually like club, and it's like he gets fucked up and then gets submitted. He's not like just going out there and just getting submitted left and right. His jiu-jitsu is not bad. His takedown defense is like 85%. It's really solid. Edson Barboza is a good grappler. He just has unreal kicks, so that's his game. He's crazy explosive. Makwan Amirkhani, man, he has not showed the greatest gas tank, man. He gasses out in the 3rd round every fight. He made me money in that last fight. I had him in the 1st round against Danny Henry. He got that submission, made me money. I was really happy, but this is another level, man. Edson Barboza, like another level, and I just feel like Makwan is going to have to go out. He is going to go out there, and he might make it tough for Edson to finish him because he's just going to be glued to him. But, man, I don't know if he's fought somebody with, like, the knockout power, like the kicks, the power in their kicks like that. Like, it's going to be hard. Like, if he just wants to, like, shoot. I mean, Edson he kicks so hard that he'll continue to kick even when he knows you're going for his leg, because I mean, it's like, do you really want to like fuck around with that, man? He will, and if you keep shooting desperation shots into him and you overextend, man, he is gonna knee your head off. He's gonna kick your head off. Like, his boxing's not the greatest, but neither is Makwan's, and I think it'll play out on the feet. I mean, it is gonna be probably Makwan's gonna make it dirty. He's not gonna want to just like kickbox. He's not. You won't see that. Makwan will be out there shooting for his life. And I mean, hey, he could land a submission early, but if he doesn't, I don't see him being able to grind Edson for 3 rounds. If anything, I think Edson might have the better gas tank. So, I mean, 145, I've only seen him once, but his gas tank checked out there. And I mean, Makwan's big question marks on his gas tanks himself. So, I lean Edson here, man. He's going to be another parlay piece for me. The line's a little out of control at this point. I mean, I don't know. I won't say out of control, but it's a little wide. But I do think Edson gets it done. Main event time. We got Marlon Moraes and Corey Sandhagen. This is a dope-ass fight, man. You got Marlon Moraes coming off that dicey win with Jose Aldo. It was really close, man. It goes either way. Everybody always says it was like, oh, robbery. Nah, man. Robbery is when it's obvious, like, it wasn't close. That was a close fight that could have went either way. And he almost kicked Jose's head off in the first round there. But Marlon, man, he's crazy finisher. Like, he can finish anybody. And I mean, in those first round or two, it's going to be a really, really dicey fight for Corey. He is there to be hit sometimes. He throws so much volume. There is counter ability. Somebody like Marlon loves a guy who's going to want to try to throw that much volume at him early on in the fight, because there's just so much opportunity to counter. But the real key for Corey, I mean, it's no secret. He's just going to have to get out of these first round or two. I mean, one thing, since the last fight of the night, it makes it a little easier. I'm going to tie him into he's going to be in he's in one parlay right now. He might be in a little second one, little Hail Mary one. But the thing I'm probably going to have to do is hedge Marlon first round knockout, or maybe first round finish. We're going to let people put Corey in their parlays, and then let that line go, creep up a little bit more probably. It's at least the way it's projected. And then, Marlon's going to be live in that first round. The bad thing is the submission isn't out of the question either here. An early finish, most likely a knockout, but he could definitely land a guillotine. It'd be most likely a guillotine, but he has other submissions. He's a legitimate black belt. But if he gets into those later rounds, I just feel like Marlon's just going to slow down. His explosivity is just going to slow down, and Corey's just going to he throws like twice the volume. He's just going to absolutely wreck him on the cards if it goes late, if it goes to the end of the fight. Unless Marlon was able to just absolutely sap his will early on in the fight, even if he can't knock him out, by like knocking him down a couple times, really fucking him up. Because if he doesn't cause serious damage, not finish him early, I just don't really see a way he wins this fight in a 5-round fight. So I'm gonna have Corey in a parlay or two, but Marlon is super live for a finish in that first round or two. He's one of the best first round fighters in the UFC. In the second round, he's still live. Once it gets into that third, man, we're gonna see Corey start to take over. So that's gonna be it for me. As far as the picks. For the bets, real quick, I do have Aspinall, and I have Aspinall in the first round. I have Aspinall by KO, and I have him in 4 parlays. So, like I was all in on Jourdain last week, like I was all in on Colby and Hamzat, like I was, I would go back and forth, back on and on and on. I'm all in on Aspinall this week. His opponent. Wait, did we accidentally skip that one? Tom Aspinall, real quick, I mean, clearly I've shown my cards. He's fighting a 205er, and This is just a guy who is just so wild and unorthodox. He's going in there against a black belt. Now, Aspinall hasn't showed a ton of his black belt, yet, but he's going against a black belt with just much better striking, much more better fight IQ, and while neither one of them have a ton of experience, it's just a mismatch. He's at 205 right now. He looked big at the weigh-ins, but sometimes that could just hurt you if you just gain a rack of weight before the fight. And he is tall, but I just think Aspinall all day here. I think he's going to finish him in this first round. First round knockout. I also have him in my part. Him and my boy Tagir Ulambekov are going to be my anchors on the parlays. So Aspinall and Ulambekov are in a parlay with my third most confident play, which is Edson Barboza. So I have a parlay of them three, and then I have a parlay with Ben Rothwell, Edson Barboza, Ulambekov, and then Aspinall. And then I have a parlay with Corey Sandhagen, Edson Barboza, and Aspinall, Ulambekov, and I have Bhullar. I have KB Bhullar as an underdog. I have Topuria as an underdog. Marcus Perez is one that I'm waiting on because that line keeps creeping up. I have Omar Morales as a at like minus 140 favorite. And I might do a little parlay of Kasanganay and Nascimento. Do feel like they'll win, but I'm holding off on that, waiting to see what the line movement. And yeah, Perez is still creeping up higher, so I'm waiting on that one. So, yep, we got Barboza in 2 parlays, Ben Rothwell in 2 parlays, Aspinall and Ulambekov in all 4 of my parlays, and some decent underdogs there. Might be making those last couple bets. I will let you guys know on Twitter. I will let you guys know live on Twitch. And so hit me up there, and I'll let you know if I make any more plays. In the meantime, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure you drop a sub. This is a little last second, but I do appreciate y'all coming through and watching anyways. And leave me a comment. Let me know which picks you don't agree with, which ones you do agree with. Make sure you come through and watch the Twitch, and turn your notifications on. If you click the sub button, click the little bell so you don't miss a video, because Twitter likes to suspend people and then I don't know where to post my videos. So make sure you have the notifications on. And yeah, hit me up, man. I always answer all the comments. So I appreciate y'all watching, man. Sorry I ramble and I let these go fucking for an hour, but love you guys anyways. Peace. Let's make some money.